Hello everyone. I just want to start off by saying my name is Ahad and I've been trading for 3 years now. Well, this is my third year, so I'm in my third year currently. My main focus pair is Gbpjpy. I've backtested this for hours and hours and hours. I've put a lot of work into this pair and gold, but mainly Gbpjpy. So what I'm going to start doing is doing my weekly outlooks and sharing it with you guys on YouTube. I'll be posting every Sunday, so please do subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you know when I've posted on YouTube. All right, let's get straight into it and understand exactly what Gbpjpy is going to do this week. All right, cool. So, as we can see, on the weekly time frame, we like to start on the higher time frames because this just gives an overall picture of what's going on, where price is currently, and where we can potentially see price going in the long term. So we need to have that outlook just so when we do trade maybe intraday trades or intra-week trades, when we try to catch the weekly swings, we understand why price is doing certain things. So I am more for intra-week trader. Sometimes I do take intraday trades, but yeah, I like catching the weekly swings. And yeah, I don't really hold my trades for weeks. I usually hold it for a few days. I can sometimes hold it over the weekend, but we shall see. It depends on the market conditions. All right. So as we can see, GBP is clearly bullish on the weekly time frame. Let me tell you why. Because you may be thinking, but isn't it? I know some of you may be thinking, but isn't it forming lower lows on the weekly time frame? No, it's not. Let me tell you why. Because when we were clearly bullish on the weekly time frame, right? We were clearly bullish. We made a higher high. So because we broke this previous high, this is our new higher low. I hope that makes sense. Higher low, break that high, higher high. That's our higher low. We make a higher low. The only reason this is our new higher low is because we broke the previous higher high, right? And now we can see we broke all the way down. We broke all the way down to form a lower high. And then we broke all the way back up to form a new higher high. Because this was the previous higher low made before this previous high was broken, we can count this as our new higher low, if that makes any sense. So just to this is not really an educational video. This is more just to give my outlook, but I'm just gonna throw this in so no one gets confused. High, that's our new higher high, right? This is our higher high, and right now this is our higher low. Higher low, higher high. Nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Boom. We broke, we broke this high. Right now, this is our new higher low. Then we can pull back. Now, what's happening? Nothing, nothing, nothing. Boom. We broke this high. This is our new higher low. It's the same thing here. We broke this high to form a new higher high. But before the higher high was made, we know this was the previous higher low. So right now, we have not taken, this is not our higher low. This is our higher low. I hope that makes sense. That's just a quick um, explanation. If you guys want me to go into more detail about structure, I can do a whole video on that and explain it in a lot more detail and clearly. So do let me know. But let's just focus on the outlook for now. So yeah, we can see the weekly time frame is clearly bullish, right? If I go on the weekly time frame, what else can I see? I can see that price. If we bring our array, we can see we've rebounded off this area right here. We can see when price came into here, we stood for 1-2 weeks and we absolutely collapsed. When price came into this area, we stood for 1-2 weeks and we collapsed. 1-2 weeks collapsed. All right, now based off that information, let's actually put our area of 157.500. I like my quarterly levels. What are quarterly levels? Your quarters. So GJ goes from 160 to 170. What are the quarters in between that? 162.500, 165, 167.500, and then we have 170. There are our 167.500 is our quarterly level, 162.500 is our quarterly level, 165 is our mid level, and 170 and 160 are our literally round whole numbers. Yep, to the nearest pips. So I hope that makes sense. I like my quarterly levels. So for example, between 150 and 140, our quarterly level will be 142.500 and 147.500. Our mid level would be 145. And yeah, we have 150 and 140. These are my key levels for a reason. I don't just magically say they're my key levels. I've back tested it and I see GJ does like to respect these areas. Doesn't mean it's just one of my confirmations. Doesn't mean if price comes then rejects that, just buy. It obviously depends on many other factors, which we will go into. All right, so we can see when price came into this area, I anticipated after the weekly closed above this zone, I anticipate for the next week to remain around this area simply because when price came into the zone here, it remained there for 1-2 weeks, 1-2 weeks, 1-2 weeks. So there's a high probability that price could remain here for 1-2 weeks before pumping to the upside. And we can see huge momentum come in this previous week. We also closed above the previous two bodies, and we took out the previous two highs, intra-week highs. So we can potentially definitely see that there's upside momentum. But let's see in greater detail. If we go on the daily time frame, what can we see? Perfect. We can clearly see the daily time frame is bullish. Why? We formed a lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, no, lower low, no, 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 no. So we have, let's do that again. So we have a lower high, lower low, broke above the highs, pull back. So what I do sometimes is I look at the bodies as our lower highs. So because price struggled to close below it, so you can see this body closed below that area. So this is our lower high. This is our next lower high because the body is closed below, right? So we can see what's happening here. Lower high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, because this body closed below this body right here. Can you see these bodies here at 156.3737? We closed below those bodies at 156.253. So we can see that's a lower low. Then we can see a break of structure because we closed above the previous higher lower high made. Boom. Pull back to form a higher low, higher high because we broke above this area. So we can clearly see the daily is bullish, right? So definitely we should be looking for buys right now, because the weekly is bullish, the daily is bullish. So there's a high probability that we can look for upside moves. But we do know GJ is quite fast and likes to move very quickly. So potentially we can catch a downside move if that is probable, but we shall see. But right now, what I want to do, I like to mark up with my ray of what's going on. We can see right here that price is struggling to break above this area. We can see price closed below and absolutely reversed. One thing is, it's not just about being an area of resistance, it's about how price responds from this area. Price came into this area and absolutely reversed, came close to this area and absolutely reversed, came back into this area and absolutely fell, leaked. So we definitely cannot ignore this area just because we are bullish. We need to understand this is a key level. So do we want to be buying below this area? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because price can easily push back above. Let's bring the zone something like that just to our bodies, and I believe that is great. If we also look to the right, it's at 1618.800. Just one more thing as well. I like previous PA. The most recent PA, I believe, from my experience, is much more respected than PA back here, for example. Like, that is a good support, and I do believe that price does respect it, absolutely. But I hold more emphasis on these areas here. Like this area of support or this area of resistance, I hold more emphasis than that. Doesn't mean I don't consider that. I just give these key zones more importance than these ones because price reacts to recent price areas which were recently marked up, and it's always making new zones, new higher highs, new resistance areas. So recent PA is a lot more effective in my opinion. All right, so we can see there's an area of some resistance. It's so clear, if price comes above this area, if we get a clean 4-hour closure above or a daily closure above, I can scale down to the 1 hour 30-minute time frame and look for pullbacks into 161.800 and look for buys to the upside. Where now? The question is, okay, if we look at recent PA, we can see that we have this area right here. So price can go into 163. But I do believe that if the way price moves above these areas, we see huge move, huge move. We see price go from 161 to 157, around 400 pip moves. So there's a high probability when price comes above, we can come back into this area and go for a 400 pip move, potentially into 165. So 165 is a nice mid-level. And also 165, you can see it's a key area of support and resistance in the past where price is very sensitive to. We can see when price came into this area, we wicked in twice and we pumped all the way into 171. We came back into this area and we pumped it to 169. We came back into this area, we came below, we came back above, tapped in and we went into 168 and we tapped it again, we pumped up. As you can see, it's a key level, but it's also the previous area of support, which price likes to rebound from. Price likes to rebound to previous areas of support, right? And this is recent. This is very recent in terms of when you get into this area. What's the recent PA around this area? Oh, it's right here. What happened around here? We rejected this area. So there's a high probability if we get 4-hour rejections, daily rejections, and 30-minute rejections, there's a high probability we can come back down into this area. So definitely I'm waiting for price to come back above, retrace, and push up into there. That's that. But we need to adapt during the week. Sometimes I will change and alter these zones because we don't know what the market's going to do. Imagine the market does this now. Imagine we get another the 4-hour comes here. The 4-hour closes above, like this candle here. Let's just say we get a similar candle here. And then we don't even get a retracement here. The 4-hour just closes back below, like this candle, or a strong candle like this. Then I'm like, all right, cool. I don't really want to be looking for buyers unless we can pop back above. But now there's a higher probability because we got another rejection into this area, we can potentially see deeper pullbacks. We can see deeper pullbacks. And why am I saying this? So this is the daily time frame. I think the 4 hours is a bit better to look at. Yeah, if we potentially get another rejection like this, I will see, all right, cool. Why is 4-hour doing this? Is it trying to fake me out into sales so that I may get stopped out? Or is there a potential reason where price can head to? And for me, potentially what I can see happening is if I am looking for sales there, there's a lower probability for looking for sales, especially because we're bullish overall. But if I was, I would be thinking, okay, maybe on the daily time frame, we're bullish, we've made our higher high. Maybe we want to pull back into this area of sensitive supply and we want to make a bigger retracement. We want to make a bigger retracement, right? So maybe we can see something like this and we can retest the previous area of resistance, which becomes support. What have I said? Price likes to retest previous support or resistance. What's the most previous support or resistance? This area right here on the daily time frame. You can also see that 160 is around this area. We can see 160, so maybe price can retrace into 160 and mid-level and pump into 165, or price can tap into 159,500, which is the previous area of daily support. But also we can go on the 4-hour time frame and we can see the exact same thing. Yeah, so two things can happen for me. We can come here, reject this area and pump down into here, and then we can potentially start looking for buys, or but you have to remember, you may be thinking, but you said don't buy below this area. I will only buy in this area and my TP will be there. My TP won't be at 165. Why? It doesn't make no logical sense. We're below a very sensitive area. Why am I going to think price is going to go there when we've rejected it multiple times? My take profit is there. Maybe I will move my stop loss when higher highs are made just so I can capitalize on the whole move. But again, I just need to make sure I am looking at the markets correctly and understanding probability. This is a probabilities game. And why is my TP going to be all the way up there when price likes to respect this area multiple times? So I may look for buys here, but my TP will only be there. Hope that makes sense. Anyways, so what have I said? I said we could potentially come here and make a steeper higher low on the daily time frame, or we can see that price pumped above this area and we made a higher high on the daily time frame, and we're making higher highs and higher lows on the 4-hour time frame. So maybe we may respect this low made, right? As you can see, price respected this area. When price came to this area, we leaked. It's not the strongest area. You need to recognize what's a strong area. It's clear this is a much stronger area than this, but it's still a decent, valid area for price to come into. Why? Because we retraced, we made a nice retracement. So maybe we can see price come, reject, and fall down, or we can see price come, break above, retest this area, and absolutely pump to 165. For me, there's a higher probability we're going to pump into 165 simply because of what the weekly is showing us this rejections like this, huge pump, huge pump, huge pump. Okay, there's a high probability, two rejections, huge pump into 165. And maybe when we get to 165, I can start looking for some sales. That's because it's a nice key level and we'll see if we get rejections. It all depends on what the 4-hour does. Does the 4-hour reject? Are we seeing 30-minute clean entry areas? Then we look for entries. Again, I can do entry videos. I can do what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? Drop comments below if you have further questions. I'm happy to go into all of that. This is just the outlook, just to give you an idea and a little bit of a to see how someone with 3 years experience does look at the market. Some of you may have more experience than me. Some of you may have less experience than me. So I just hope, please take as much value as you can from this. Take what you like. What you don't like, don't take it. If you don't like a certain way I look at the market, say this ain't for me. It's fine. Everyone has different strategies. Everyone has different approaches. So please do make sure you take what suits you. Because even someone's earning a lot more money than me, if their strategy it doesn't really fit my style, or they do something such as MAs and EMAs and stuff, I'm not really feeling, I don't take it. But I definitely listen very closely to them because I'm not ignorant enough to understand. I'm not ignorant. I understand they're making a lot of money from this market, and there's always something to learn from them. So please do, even if you take one thing from this video, would be great. Okay, so as you can see, we need to wait and see what happens. Yep, that's my JPY outlook. Let's see what happens. Am I looking for any sells around here? No. Where like why would I look for people? Some people may put a resistance here. I understand. They might be like, oh, we can sell it intraday. But why would you do that? Firstly, it's not as a strong level here. You're trading against the trend on the daily and the weekly. And if you are going to sell, at least sell at a very key level like this. This is not as strong as a level as this because we can see price came above this area once, twice, 3 times, right? So there's a high probability that we could potentially come above, but we could respect it. But for me, I would rather stay away. I would rather wait for price to come into here if I am looking for sales, or break, retest, buys, or buys here. So there's 3 scenarios I'm looking for. Sell here if we get a strong rejection, break, retest, buy into 165. But I'm very careful. I'm going to be very careful. It doesn't mean my TP is there and I just leave it and I close my eyes. I'm going to see how price responds here. If we get 4-hour rejections, I'm going to be like, you know what? Maybe price is looking to reject this area and we're going to drop down. Maybe it's time to close my trade. Yeah? You have to think logically, not emotionally. The market doesn't care about what I think. The market's going to do what it's going to do. So please understand that. Um, I'm going to do gold. Maybe I'm not going to focus on gold today. I just wanted to do a JPY outlook because it is my first outlook. So please do drop your comments below. Please like and subscribe. Please let me know any type of videos you want me to do. But please have a look out on Sundays. I'm going to be posting my outlooks every single week. Great. Take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for watching this video. Peace.